spirit showed me a sign and something actually happens. It's very rare. And of course, in the movies, something always happens. But in real life, not so much. So we need the board for communication, and that's why we're going to use it. Now just quickly note, with the Ouija board and the history where it comes from, many people think that it's actually much newer than it actually is. But if you look at Mattel, I think is the current owners of it, and you go back to the early 1900s when a man named William Fuld was the first to buy the patent and put it out into the public, it actually dates back even much farther than that. You can go back to ancient China to find certain types of Ouija. But back then, it was automatic writing. So you would create this kind of planchet device, like what's used to point at the letters, but you would put a pencil at the end of it, put it on a piece of paper, and then the combined energy in this dowsing session would move the pencil around and would spell out words. So that's where the board comes from. Now, why is this dangerous? It's because we're combining multiple energies in this dowsing technique. If you're using divining rods, it's just you. You can control that. When you have multiple energies, there are a lot of people who are unable to control it, and that's when you have things happen. But, as I mentioned, we're in a haunted building, we're surrounded by psychics. It's okay. We'll make things happen. So, saying that, I want to talk a little bit about our past experiences during these seances. And as a warning, tonight's been actually quite active. It's been more active than it's been in a few months. But if you go back to the early part of 2014 and 2013, negative things were happening in this building during that time. And it would be affected during the seances. And I called it as it was, even though I don't like the name, possession. It was possession. But it's not possession like you see in the movie The Exorcist, for example. There's no demon inside you that's going to come out and be able to control you like a puppet. That's not what's happening. But what does actually happen is outside energy tries to invade your own personal living energy. And how it translates to the real world is you will be paralyzed for a little bit. You can't move your arms, you can't move your legs. You can talk, and when it's all done, you will start to feel nauseous, and you will start to feel sick. So we had this happen a few times, and it would affect girls between the ages of 16 to 21 years old, because we believe the Dark Lady was affecting girls of a similar age to herself when she died. It said she died when she was 18. So these girls would have this feeling during the first seance. It happened twice, then there would be a clearing. During the next seance, it happened another 2 times, and there would be a clearing. And after it happened then during the second seance, I then wanted to find out why the Dark Lady was doing this. So I asked a certain amount of people in the group, no girls between those ages, to step forward and said, do you mind continuing on so I can find out why she's so angry? And a few people said yes. So we do the seance. I would ask the questions that needed to be asked, and when it was done, the one thing she kept saying over and over again, the poem. She didn't want the poem being told because it described her like the devil. It was very unflattering. So I then promised her I would not tell the poem again, and it was removed from the ghost box. After that, things immediately calmed down. The only thing is, though, it's been a little bit too calm. We come into these seances and not a lot has happened over the past few months. Still an entertaining evening with the stories and everything, but not a lot of proof. As where before that, people were walking out of here as believers. So hopefully we can stir things up again tonight. Right, guys? And actually, the gathered group at the board here is at the board because the Dark Lady requested it. There was a session done in the other room over there, and when they were on the board, it specifically said that the people in the room should be part of the seance, right? As if there was some kind of specific message that had to come through. So that's what we're going to do.